Well, hello everyone and welcome back to another Theme Park Obsession video. My name is Dylan and thank you so much for tuning back into the channel. Today I'm giving you an Epic Universe update with all of the latest construction photos courtesy of BioReconstruct on Twitter. And today my focus is going to be comparing old construction photos with the most recent ones because I just want to show off how amazingly quick they are moving on this all-new theme park that is scheduled to open in the summer of 2025. Universal Epic Universe is Universal Orlando Resort's newest theme park, and it's just a few miles south from the existing resort. And once complete, it will be home to 4 highly themed immersive lands and over a dozen new rides and attractions. And once complete, it will be Universal's largest theme park in North America. And like I said earlier, the park is supposed to be opening in the summer of 2025. Universal announced that not too long ago, but they did say that it will be opening in 2025 at the latest. And latest is a key word there because I truly think the park is going to be opening up a little bit sooner than we all think. And judging by the last 6 months of construction progress, it is amazing to see how fast Universal's crew is working on the new project. There are over 10,000 construction workers working on Epic Universe, and it's not just Epic Universe. They're working on hotels, and they're working on a lot of infrastructure so people can get to and from to the theme park. But with that, let's dive into the latest construction photos from BioReconstruct on Twitter. Let's start with the front entrance of the park. At the end of March 2023, crews had already poured the main foundations of what will eventually make up various shops, park services, and in concept, the huge canopies that will cover the entrance pathways into the main hub. Similar to Tokyo Disneyland, you can see closely that only a couple of the archway foundations were poured at this time, with most of the work happening on the 2 buildings that will eventually be bridged by the front entrance face. I'm sure there'll be breaks in the buildings, but if not, it's looking like these gift shops will be massive. Now here's what the front entrance looks like as of May 2023, a little under 60 days from the last photo. 7 new concrete columns have been erected, which will form the park's archway entrance, and huge sheets of steel have been put in place to form roofs, and steel beams are rising to form the overhead canopies. Overall, not a crazy amount of progress, but to be fair, most of the work has been happening elsewhere in the park. It's still nice to see the entrance slowly being formed though. Moving forward into the park a little bit more, here is what's rumored to be a sit-down restaurant, where it's looking like water will be surrounding the dining location and concept. This is what the location looked like at the beginning of April of 2023, and you could see the main skeleton of the building is being welded, and off to the right you can see the backstage access foundation has been completed. Now this is what the location looks like as of May, under 40 days later. The roof is taking shape, the steel skeleton is mainly complete, and they have buried the backstage access. Eventually a footpath will be here, and I think out of all the dining locations that are rumored to be in the park, this one is up there in my top 3 just based on the water elements alone. And just as a little extra, here's what the location looked like in February. So there's been a lot of good progress on this particular dining location. Moving deeper into the hub, this is what the rumored flat ride looked like back in February of 2023. Crews were still working on the attraction's foundation and pump room because remember, this attraction is allegedly supposed to involve a water element just based on the plumbing going to and from the attraction's foundation. In concept, this structure looks to have a beautiful stained glass dome, and in this photo, crews were finishing up the last bits of foundation for those arching pieces of steel that will make up that dome. But fast forward to May of 2023, and this is what the attraction looks like now. Only a difference in 3 months, and they've been able to accomplish quite a bit of progress. The foundation and pump room have been completed, the footings for the arching pieces of steel have been completed, and a dozen of those pieces have actually been put in place to form the larger of the 2 stained glass domes. Let's move across the pond to the Hub Coaster, a launch dual racing roller coaster allegedly being built by Mack Rides. Here's where things were back at the beginning of February of 2023. You can see that the first pieces of track were installed, creating the turnaround at the front of the ride, and what will be an indoor section of the first launch. The maintenance bay was pretty much ready for its roof structure, and crews were just starting to put the curved pieces of steel into place that will eventually form the launch tunnel underneath the load and unload area. Now here's what things are looking like roughly 3.5 months later. Some amazing progress in this area of the park on a spider web of coaster support and track, along with a complex station building. The building has started to receive its curved roof supports, the brake run for the coaster is in, the launch tunnel received some great progress and track, and you could see that overall these 2 coasters are going to have some amazing moments. The top hat looks like it will provide some great airtime, the turnaround element after the top hat looks great, and the signature element of the entire ride looks to be incredible as well. Let's continue our journey on to the only confirmed land in the park, and that's Super Nintendo World. You can see in February of 2023 that the land's perimeter walls weren't sealed off just yet, Mount Beanpole had its main skeleton complete, and the overall shapes of the different buildings were starting to form. Fast forward to May, and things are taking on more shape. You can make out each of the different building elements a little bit more structural steel has been added to Mount Beanpole, and concrete forms for planters and various game elements are nearly done. And then over at the Donkey Kong section, which is a very complicated area, things are moving nicely as well, with sections of the ride being enclosed, and a bit of theming showing up on the main show building. Next, let's check up on the progress in the rumored Monsters Land, because there's a lot of great comparisons here as well. Crews are working so fast in this area. The big things that we saw around this time in February were the addition of more coaster track for the rumored Wolfman roller coaster, and then just a few things here and there, mainly a lot of work happening on the facade for the main attraction of the land. But fast forward to a little under 3 months, and so much had changed. In that short period of time, crews were able to finish the layout of the coaster. The two biggest buildings upon entering received their roof, facade structures, and sidewalls. The entry portal started getting its elaborate theming, and an all-new building rumored to be a beverage location popped up. And the rumored Universal Monsters Land is just another perfect example of how quick crews can go in just a short period of time. Again, this was only 3 months, roughly 3 months. Again, fueling my theory that the park might open a little bit sooner than anticipated. I'm thinking maybe early 2025, or maybe even by the fourth quarter of 2024, sometime around November or December, just in time for all the holiday festivities at Universal Orlando. Next up, let's look at the differences in construction in the rumored Wizarding World Land. This is what the land looked like in January of 2023. The scale in this land is pretty insane. You can tell that the facades of these buildings are just massive, and I think upon entering for the first time, it's going to be jaw-dropping. But fast forward to May of 2023, and oh my goodness, so much has changed here. This entire area is starting to look like an actual city now, with a lot of detail going into the facades. And again, the scale is just insane. It's so huge, and especially when you look at how enclosed everything is, it's just going to be very overwhelming. Very similar, I think, to Diagon Alley. A lot of the heavy work is happening in the back half of the land, where crews aren't constructing more facades. And at this current rate, I think those facades will be done in the next couple months as well. Not complete, but to match the other ones. And let's finish up with the inside of the theme park by taking a look at the rumored How to Train Your Dragon land. But honestly, at this point, we know it's How to Train Your Dragon, just judging by what we can see right now. Here's what the land looked like in January of 2023. You see, a lot of foundation work was happening around this time to support the lagoon, various restaurants and shops, and of course, some of the main attractions. We were also starting to see the first bits of coaster track show up for the land's main coaster that kind of wraps around the entirety of the land, which is really cool. But let's fast forward to May of 2023, where OMG, again, another land seeing some tremendous progress. Nearly 4 months of work translated into a finished coaster track, new statues appearing, and buildings being completed, at least as far as their main structural components. The statues are receiving their first coats of paint, and along the perimeter of the lagoon, a bunch of theming is happening. This land is rumored to have the most attractions in all the lands at Epic Universe, and you could see in the latest aerial photos from BioReconstruct that all of the foundations for these attractions are complete. And out of all the lands in Epic Universe, this one is the largest, so huge shout out to the crews for this massive undertaking. The fact that they've been able to complete this much in roughly 4 months is pretty amazing. And last but not least, let's check out one of the 3 hotel sites for Epic Universe. This hotel site will have a sister property very similar to the Endless Summer Resort at Universal Studios already. And this is what the hotel plot looks like at the beginning of February of 2023. You can tell that the plot had been graded, the foundation was laid, and the hotel went vertical. And in roughly 3 months, this is what the hotel looks like now. Out of all the Epic Universe projects, I think this one is actually my favorite, just because of how quick they're going. They finished the main building, they've even started putting in the windows, and they're also working on the pool. And in addition to finishing the main part of the building, they've started work on the second hotel, and I'm assuming here in the next 2 or 3 months, we're going to see another finished building. If it's anything like Surfside and Dockside, these hotels will be completed in no time. And with that, I think that is going to do it for today's Epic Universe video. So thank you so much for watching. I loved putting this one together. It's always fun to watch construction happen, and especially when you're comparing old photos just a few months ago to now, and just the huge differences are simply amazing. And like I was saying, I think Universal wants to try to get this thing open a little bit sooner than anticipated. It would be some great competition towards Disney if they did open this up a little bit earlier. I'm really looking forward to this theme park, and I think everyone should be looking forward to this because a brand new theme park built from the ground up is always exciting, and the fact that we're going to have another one in Orlando is pretty darn cool. But if you enjoyed the video, go ahead and let me know by smashing the thumbs up button. And if you're new to the channel and you love these videos from Universal Orlando or some of your other favorite theme parks, consider subscribing because I have brand new videos every single week. Be sure to check out my Instagram account and Twitter. But until the next video, I hope you have a beautiful day, morning, evening, whatever it is, and I'll see you next time in the parks. Bye.